Have you ever felt a quiet, nagging ache in your joints or a heaviness in your spirit that just won't seem to lift no matter how many modern pills you try? We live in a world where we are told that every ailment has a chemical solution found in a plastic bottle, yet we often find ourselves feeling more depleted than ever. It is a strange irony that in our quest for the newest health craze, we have walked right past the very things God placed in the earth for our healing thousands of years ago. There is a hidden, quiet ailment in our modern world called chronic inflammation, and while the pharmacy offers a temporary bandage, the ancient Creator offered a permanent foundation. Today, we are going back to the beginning to rediscover the medicine of the patriarchs and the prophets. We are looking at the foods that sustained the people of the Bible through desert wanderings and kingdom building. I am David, and I have spent years studying the intersection of our beautiful faith and the science of how our bodies actually work. Today, I am going to share with you 10 specific biblical superfoods that are not just symbols of blessing, but are actually nutritional weapons designed to restore your health. These are foods that appear directly in the Holy Text, and modern science is finally catching up to the wisdom found in those ancient pages. We are going to look at the clinical evidence that proves these foods can help lower your blood pressure, clear your mind, and give you back the energy you thought was gone forever. By the time we are finished, you will have a roadmap for a kitchen that functions like a pharmacy, filled with the goodness of God's green earth. Stay with me through this entire journey, because every one of these items builds upon the last. I want you to pay special attention to item number 10, because it is the single most referenced health-giving substance in the entire Bible, and most people are using the wrong version of it today. Before we dive into our countdown, I must remind you that I am a teacher of wellness and faith, not your personal medical doctor. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making major changes to your diet, especially if you are on medication. Now, let us open the pantry of the ancients and see what wonders await us. We are starting with a fruit that kept armies moving and hearts strong in the heat of the desert. These are the foods that helped the saints of old live long, vibrant lives, and they can do the same for you today if you know how to use them correctly. Number 1 is the date, the original energy bar of the desert. When you look at the landscape of the Holy Land, the date palm stands as a tall, resilient sentinel of life. In the Bible, the righteous are often compared to the palm tree because it thrives even in the harshest conditions. Think about the soldiers, the traders, and the pilgrims who had to walk hundreds of miles through the wilderness. They did not have refrigeration or protein shakes. They had dates. These fruits were celebrated because they provided immediate, sustained energy that kept people alive when resources were scarce. They are packed with natural sugars, but unlike the refined sugar we find in a candy bar, dates come wrapped in a significant amount of fiber. This fiber acts like a slow-release mechanism, ensuring that your blood sugar stays stable rather than spiking and crashing. I remember my own grandmother always keeping a bowl of these on her counter, and she had more energy at 80 than most people do at 40. Beyond just energy, dates are a powerhouse of minerals like magnesium, potassium, and copper. Magnesium is often called the relaxation mineral because it helps soothe the nervous system and supports heart health. Clinical research has actually found something quite miraculous about dates regarding pregnancy and labor. Multiple controlled trials have shown that women who consumed dates in the final weeks of pregnancy had significantly shorter labor times and better outcomes. This is because dates contain compounds that mimic oxytocin, the hormone responsible for labor contractions. If they can do that for a mother in labor, imagine what they can do for your general vitality. They also contain polyphenol and tannins that have antimicrobial properties, helping your body fight off unwanted invaders. To use them effectively, I recommend eating 3 to 5 dates as a natural pre-workout snack or a mid-afternoon pick-me-up. You can also use them as a sweetener in your morning oatmeal. Just be careful if you are managing a condition like diabetes, as they are still high in natural sugar. Start slow and see how your body responds to this ancient fuel. It is a gift from the desert that is meant to sustain your strength through the long journey of life, providing you with the minerals your bones and heart crave every single day. Number 2 is the pistachio, a nut so precious that a patriarch considered it a gift worthy of a king. In Genesis chapter 43, we see Jacob instructing his sons to take the best fruits of the land down to Egypt to find favor with the ruler there. Among the gifts he chose were pistachios. This tells us that even during a time of great famine, these nuts were considered currency-grade nutrition. They were not just a snack, they were a treasure. Modern science now confirms that Jacob's assessment was absolutely correct. Pistachios are unique in the nut world because they are incredibly high in lutein and zeaxanthin. These are two specific carotenoids that act like internal sunglasses for your eyes. They migrate to the macula of the eye and protect it from the blue light and oxidative stress that cause age-related vision loss. If you are over the age of 55, these are some of the most important nutrients you can consume to keep your sight sharp. I personally started eating a handful every morning after my doctor mentioned my eye health, and I have felt the difference in my clarity. But the benefits do not stop at your eyes. Pistachios are also wonderful for your cardiovascular system. They contain more potassium per serving than most other nuts, which helps regulate your blood pressure by balancing out the effects of salt in your diet. What is truly fascinating to researchers today is what pistachios do for your gut microbiome. Clinical studies have shown that eating pistachios can increase the levels of beneficial bacteria in your digestive tract more effectively than many other types of nuts. This is because their unique fiber structure provides the perfect food for your healthy bacteria to thrive. When your gut is healthy, your immune system is strong and your mood is more stable. They also have a very complete amino acid profile, making them a great source of plant-based protein. When you buy them, try to find them in the shell. The act of shelling them slows down your eating, which helps your brain register that you are full. Aim for about 1 ounce a day, which is roughly a small handful. They are a royal gift that supports your heart, your eyes, and your digestion, proving that the ancient patriarchs knew exactly what had the most value for the human body. Number 3 is barley, the humble grain of the ordinary person that actually outperforms the most expensive health foods. In the ancient world, barley was the food of the commoner, the soldier, and the laborer. When Jesus performed the miracle of feeding the 5,000, the loaves he used were made of barley. This grain was the backbone of the Israelite diet because it was hearty and dependable. While it might not be as glamorous as some modern grains, it contains a secret weapon called beta-glucan. Beta-glucan is a type of soluble fiber that is so effective at lowering cholesterol that the FDA has actually approved a heart health claim for it. When you eat barley, this fiber turns into a thick gel in your digestive tract. This gel does 2 incredible things. First, it traps LDL cholesterol, which is the bad kind, and carries it out of your body before it can enter your bloodstream. Second, it slows down the absorption of sugar, which prevents those dangerous spikes in your insulin levels. This makes barley one of the best foods for anyone worried about heart disease or type 2 diabetes. I often tell the folks in my Bible study that switching from white rice to pearled barley is like giving your arteries a gentle internal scrubbing every single day. Clinical comparisons have shown that barley actually outperforms oats when it comes to stabilizing blood sugar after a meal. It also contains lignans, which are antioxidants linked to a lower risk of certain cancers and heart disease. In the ancient world, people would eat barley as a thick porridge or grind it into flatbreads. Today, you can easily add it to your vegetable soups or stews. It has a wonderful chewy texture and a nutty flavor that is very satisfying. One thing to keep in mind is that barley does contain gluten, so if you have celiac disease or a strong gluten sensitivity, this is one to avoid. But for most people, it is a sturdy, reliable source of long-lasting energy. It is the grain of the miracle, a food that was used to feed the multitudes and can now be used to nourish your heart and keep your blood sugar in a healthy, steady range as you age. Number 4 is the pomegranate, the beautiful fruit that decorated the very pillars of Solomon's temple. If you look at the descriptions of the temple in the Book of Kings, you will see that hundreds of carved pomegranates were used as ornaments. This was not just for decoration. The pomegranate was a symbol of life, abundance, and fertility in the biblical world. It turns out that the science behind this fruit is just as impressive as its religious significance. Pomegranates contain a very specific compound called punicalagin. This is a massive antioxidant molecule that is found almost nowhere else in nature. When you eat a pomegranate or drink its juice, your body breaks these compounds down into something called urolithins. Researchers are currently fascinated by urolithins because they seem to have a profound effect on our mitochondria, which are the power plants of our cells. As we get older, our mitochondria can become sluggish, which leads to fatigue and cellular aging. Pomegranates essentially help clean up these power plants, allowing them to function more efficiently. Clinical trials have shown that drinking just a few ounces of pomegranate juice daily can significantly reduce blood pressure and improve blood flow to the heart. It also helps prevent the oxidation of cholesterol, which is the process that leads to plaque buildup in your arteries. I remember seeing a study where patients with clogged arteries saw a measurable reduction in plaque after a year of consistent pomegranate consumption. That is the power of God's pharmacy. The fruit is also packed with vitamin C and potassium. While most people just eat the seeds or drink the juice, the peel is actually where the highest concentration of medicine is found. In the ancient Middle East, the peels were dried and made into a tea to treat stomach issues and infections. You can find pomegranate peel powder today, but even just eating the fresh seeds provides an incredible boost to your immune system and your heart health. Be sure to look for juice that has no added sugar, as the natural fruit is sweet enough on its own. It is a fruit of the temple, designed to protect your cardiovascular system and keep your cellular energy high, just as it was meant to represent the abundance of the Promised Land. Number 5 is garlic, the food that was so vital the Israelites actually wept for it in the wilderness. In the book of Numbers, we see the people complaining about their diet of manna and longing for the garlic they had in Egypt. At first, it sounds like they were just being difficult, but when you understand the medicinal power of garlic, their longing makes perfect sense. Garlic is perhaps the most powerful natural antimicrobial in existence. When you crush or chop a clove of garlic, a chemical reaction occurs that produces a compound called allicin. Allicin is what gives garlic its pungent smell, but it is also what kills bacteria, viruses, and even fungi. In the ancient world, garlic was used to treat everything from infections to heart trouble. Modern science has confirmed that garlic is a potent tool for cardiovascular health. It helps to relax the blood vessels, which lowers blood pressure, and it prevents blood platelets from sticking together, which reduces the risk of dangerous clots. I have a dear friend who started eating a clove of crushed garlic every morning, and his doctor was shocked at how much his blood pressure improved over 6 months. Garlic also supports the liver in its job of detoxifying the body. It contains sulfur compounds that help clear out heavy metals and other toxins. The key to getting the most benefit from garlic is how you prepare it. You must crush or mince it and then let it sit for about 10 minutes before you cook it. This allows the allicin to fully form. If you drop a whole clove into boiling water, you destroy the medicine before it even has a chance to work. Some people find the taste too strong, but you can mix it into a little bit of raw honey or olive oil to make it more palatable. It is important to note that garlic can thin the blood, so if you are on blood-thinning medication, you should talk to your doctor before taking large amounts. Garlic is a foundational food for human health, a gift that provides a shield against infection and a support for the heart. The Israelites knew that without it, their bodies felt the lack of its protective power. It is a humble bulb that carries the strength of 100 medicines. Number 6 is the fig, the remarkable fruit that provided the prescription to save a king's life. In the second book of Kings, we read about King Hezekiah, who was deathly ill with a dangerous boil. The prophet Isaiah did not just offer a prayer. He gave a specific medical instruction. He told the attendants to take a cake of figs and apply it to the boil. When they did, the king recovered. For a long time, people thought this was just a symbolic story, but modern biochemistry has revealed that figs contain an enzyme called phycin. Phycin is a proteolytic enzyme, which means it has the ability to break down proteins, including the dead tissue and bacteria found in an infection or a wound. This is why the fig poultice worked for Hezekiah. It was a natural way to clean and heal a deep infection. But figs are not just for external use. When you eat them, they are one of the most mineral-dense fruits available to us. They are exceptionally high in calcium, which is vital for bone health as we age, and they are loaded with potassium and magnesium. They are also one of the best sources of fiber you can find, specifically a type of fiber called pectin. Pectin helps to move waste through the digestive tract and serves as a prebiotic, feeding the good bacteria in your gut. I often suggest dried figs to my friends who struggle with sluggish digestion because they are so gentle yet effective. Figs also contain high levels of antioxidants that protect your cells from the damage that leads to chronic disease. In the ancient world, a person sitting under their own vine and fig tree was the ultimate symbol of peace and prosperity. You can enjoy them fresh when they are in season or dried throughout the year. Just 2 or 3 dried figs a day can provide a significant boost to your mineral intake and keep your digestion regular. They are a sweet reminder that God provides for both our internal health and our external healing. Whether used as a poultice or a snack, the fig is a powerhouse of restorative energy that has been helping people recover their strength for thousands of years. It is a fruit of peace that brings a quiet, steady healing to the entire body. Number 7 on our list is the onion, the prebiotic king that actually helped pay the workers who built the Great Pyramids. Just like garlic, onions were one of the foods the Israelites missed during their time in the desert. In the ancient world, onions were far more than just a flavor enhancer. They were a staple food that provided essential protection against disease. Onions are one of the richest sources of a polyphenol called quercetin. Quercetin is a powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant that has been studied extensively for its ability to support the immune system and protect the heart. It acts as a natural antihistamine, which can be incredibly helpful for those of you who struggle with seasonal allergies or chronic sinus issues. I have found that adding more red onions to my diet in the spring makes a world of difference for my breathing. But perhaps the most important thing about onions for our modern world is their role as a prebiotic. They are full of inulin and fructooligosaccharides, which are specific types of fiber that your body cannot digest, but your healthy gut bacteria absolutely love. When you feed your gut bacteria with onions, they produce short-chain fatty acids that strengthen the lining of your colon and reduce inflammation throughout your entire body. A healthy gut is the foundation of a healthy mind and a strong immune system. Onions also contain sulfur compounds that support the health of your connective tissues and help your liver process toxins. Clinical studies have shown that regular onion consumption is linked to higher bone density in older women, which is vital for preventing fractures. To get the most quercetin, try to eat some of your onions raw in salads, as heat can reduce the levels of this compound. However, even cooked onions provide excellent prebiotic fiber. They are a foundational food that supports your body from the inside out, providing the building blocks for a resilient immune system and a healthy heart. They may be humble and make you cry when you chop them, but they are a source of deep, lasting health that has been recognized for millennia as a cornerstone of human nutrition. Number 8 is raw honey, which the Bible often describes as the very sweetness of heaven itself. From a land flowing with milk and honey to the stories of John the Baptist, honey is a recurring symbol of God's provision and the sweetness of His Word. But raw honey is much more than a natural sweetener. It is an extraordinary medicinal substance. It is one of the few foods on earth that truly never spoils, and archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient tombs that are still perfectly edible. This longevity is due to honey's unique chemical makeup. It has a very low water content and an acidic pH, which makes it impossible for most bacteria to survive. But the real magic happens because of the enzymes added by the bees. Raw honey contains an enzyme called glucose oxidase, which produces small amounts of hydrogen peroxide when it comes into contact with moisture. This makes it a powerful topical antibiotic. In fact, medical-grade honey is used in hospitals today to treat wounds that are resistant to traditional antibiotics. When you consume raw honey, it acts as a prebiotic and provides a wide array of antioxidants that support your heart and immune system. I always keep a jar of local, raw honey in my cupboard for when I feel a scratchy throat coming on. A single spoonful can coat the throat and kill the bacteria causing the irritation. The most important thing to remember is that it must be raw. Most of the honey you see in the grocery store has been heated and filtered, which destroys the delicate enzymes and pollen that provide the healing benefits. Look for honey that is opaque or has a bit of wax and pollen in it. That is where the medicine lives. It is a gift from the bees that provides energy, healing, and a sweetness that does not harm the body like refined sugar does. It is a reminder that God's provision is both pleasant to the taste and powerful for the body. Use it in moderation, as it is still a sugar, but recognize it as the liquid gold that it truly is. Number 9 is the almond, a nut that was so significant it was used as the model for the sacred menorah in the tabernacle. When God gave Moses the instructions for the lampstand, he specifically said the cups should be shaped like almond blossoms. Later, when Aaron's rod miraculously budded to show God's choice of leadership, it produced ripe almonds. The almond tree is the first to bloom in the spring in the Holy Land, making it a symbol of wakefulness and new life. Nutritionally, almonds are a powerhouse of life-giving nutrients. They are one of the best sources of vitamin E in the world. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that protects your cell membranes from the oxidative damage that leads to aging and disease. It is especially important for protecting your brain and your skin. Almonds are also incredibly rich in magnesium. Many people today are deficient in magnesium, which can lead to muscle cramps, anxiety, and high blood pressure. Eating a handful of almonds is a natural way to top up your magnesium levels and help your body relax. I find that a small serving of almonds in the evening helps me sleep more soundly. Clinical trials have shown that regular almond consumption can lower LDL cholesterol and improve the function of the lining of your blood vessels. They also contain healthy monounsaturated fats that keep you feeling full and satisfied, which can help with weight management. The skin of the almond is particularly important because it contains polyphenol that work together with the vitamin E to provide even greater antioxidant protection. To get the most benefit, eat them raw or lightly roasted, and try to keep the skins on. They are a symbol of God's watchfulness over His people and a practical tool for keeping your heart and brain healthy as you age. They are a small, portable package of divine nutrition that has been cherished since the days of the patriarchs. Number 10. The crown jewel of our list is olive oil. This is the single most important health-giving substance mentioned in the Bible, appearing over 140 times. It was used to anoint kings, to fuel the holy lamps, and to heal the sick. In the story of the Good Samaritan, we see him pouring oil and wine into the wounds of the injured man. This was the primary medicine of the ancient world. And today, modern science agrees that it is perhaps the healthiest food you can put in your body. Extra virgin olive oil is the cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, which is consistently linked to the lowest rates of heart disease and stroke in the world. The secret lies in a compound called oleocanthal. This unique polyphenol works in the body almost exactly like ibuprofen, blocking the inflammatory pathways that lead to joint pain, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Chronic inflammation is the root of almost every modern ailment, and olive oil is nature's most potent anti-inflammatory. I make a point to have at least 2 tablespoons of high-quality olive oil every single day, often just drizzled over my vegetables. It is also rich in vitamin E and vitamin K, and its healthy fats help your body absorb nutrients from other foods. However, you must be careful when buying it. Much of the olive oil sold today is refined or blended with cheaper oils, which removes the healing polyphenol. You must look for extra virgin, and ideally, oil that comes in a dark glass bottle to protect it from light. The best oil will have a slight peppery sting at the back of your throat. That is the sign of the oleocanthal at work. It is the oil of anointing and the oil of healing, a gift from the olive groves that provides a shield for your heart and a balm for your joints. It is the perfect conclusion to our list, a food that truly represents the intersection of divine blessing and physical restoration. When we look back at this list, we see a beautiful pattern. We see the dates for energy, the pistachios for our eyes, the barley for our hearts, and the pomegranates for our cells. We see the garlic and onions for our immune systems, the figs for our healing, the honey for our strength, and the almonds for our protection. And finally, we see the olive oil as the great anti-inflammatory that ties it all together. This is not just a collection of random foods. It is a systematic approach to health that was laid out for us long ago. These foods are a rhythmic parallel to the biblical image of a life well-lived, strong, resilient, and full of the goodness of the land. When you eat these things, you are not just consuming calories. You are participating in a tradition of wellness that spans thousands of years. You are nourishing your body with the very things the Creator designed specifically for your biology. Healing is often a slow, daily process of nourishment rather than a sudden event. It is found in the quiet choices we make in our kitchens every single morning. The ancient wisdom of the Bible has returned to us through the lens of modern science, proving that we can trust the path that was set before us. These superfoods are not trends, they are timeless. They have sustained generations of our ancestors through every kind of hardship, and they are ready to sustain you now. I want to encourage you to pick just one or two of these items to start with this week. Maybe we'll start using olive oil instead of vegetable oil, or perhaps you will swap your sugary snack for a few dates and almonds. Small changes, made with faith and consistency, lead to a transformed life. I would love to hear which of these biblical foods you are going to try first. Leave a comment below, and let's start a conversation about how we can reclaim our health together. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend who might need a little encouragement in their wellness journey. And don't forget to subscribe so you can join us for our next study. It is a joy to walk this path with you. May you be blessed with the strength of the palm tree and the peace of the olive grove. May your health be restored as you feast on the goodness of God's provision. Until next time, stay well, stay faithful, and remember that your body is a temple designed for His glory. God bless you.